So filmmakers use this thing called the dead cat to cover their microphones. It cuts down on the wind noise. Anton uses a wool sock, it looks like. That's all you need to make a great film.
Yeah, right. Inspiration and execution.
All right, this is going to happen here, folks.
Well, I think the reason a world-class photographer like Tim let Anton make this film is because Anton is a total badass cinematographer.
The theme of the film is essentially pushing your comfort level, you know, and why we need that. It's really about, you know, adventure and exploration and why we have that innate need for that, you know, and exploration and adventure might mean different things to different people. Going to Iceland, climbing on an iceberg or in an ice cave, that's what adventure and exploration meant for Clement, Rahel, and Tim.
I don't think Kevin and Anton knew what they were getting themselves into with that kind of terrain, shaky ice, high winds, threading the drone through very precarious situations, never before.
I knew the climbers were there to push boundaries and chart new territories, but I didn't expect us to. The static line really made me question the risks we were taking.
Everyone I've seen who looks at that slack line just has a blood run cold. It did for me. I mean, it's a little teeny pulley and one rope and a couple, you don't know how it's anchored.
Wait, say that one more time, tell us.
In just about any action sport, this is called being the guinea pig, which means you are the one who gets to test out, jump, the line, whatever it might be. And so, here we go, I guess.
Going out on the slack line, penalty factor was death. I kind of thought, you know, maybe should I just quit while I'm ahead and, you know, not go out on this slack line? Because when I asked Tim about it, he goes, yeah, it's secure, you know, and he had been out on it for a good half an hour at that point. But right before I wheeled myself out there on that pulley, he goes, but no guarantees. The Moulin is at least, I don't know, at least 100 feet deep, maybe 150 feet deep. So it's like totally game over if something happens. Oh, once you're out there for about 3 minutes, then you get the hang of it. And then you start thinking about what you're shooting and trying not to spin and trying to focus. And before you know it, you're just loving the shot. You forgot all about the rope. Once you look through that viewfinder, you kind of have an augmented view of reality. You're willing to do things you wouldn't normally do. And you're thinking about your work and your film more so than actually what's happening at that moment and maybe your safety. I thought the reward of getting the shot, bringing back something amazing to show in a film was worth the risk. You just couldn't say no, you know? You get giddy about stuff like that. Living life with a safety net everywhere you go is not that exciting, you know? You need a little bit of excitement. You just have something inside you that just says, you know, do it. I mean, you know, let's not live our lives completely and totally devoid of any risk.
The drone played a very important role in the film. It let us capture the stark contrast between the climbers and the vast landscape we were working in.
It's like a video game. Chasing a car with the drone while we're driving off-road. Flying the drone from the car was awesome. It was like playing a video game while watching Star Tours at the same time. You know, it was just like, it was pretty cool. It was fun. We had this thing going about 40 miles an hour. Ooh. Sweating. I'm flying a drone into a Moulin. This is like a vertical ice tunnel. I'm gonna follow Tim out here. Definitely a once-in-a-lifetime type shot. Awesome. Do it, man. Oh, that's a hero shot.
Chuck Norris would be jealous.
I think the biggest concern was doing it justice, you know, kind of translating what we saw with our eyes and putting it into a film, you know, and that's always going to be the challenge.
Tim's definition of adventure will stick with me forever, which is you don't know the outcome as you're doing it. It's just the journey, and we'll see where this takes you. I can't get that out of my head. I didn't expect anything like that. I just thought it's going to be a pretty film, but I had no idea it would be that much adrenaline, and you'd think it was death-defying, and that was amazing.
It was so worth it to bring back the memories and the adventure we had and to be able to document that.
It wasn't a single thing. It wasn't just the beauty. It wasn't the risk we took. It wasn't the company. It was all of that together. I think everyone kind of walked away thinking, you know, that was a pretty amazing trip. Even the guys had done things that were similar to that already. I think, you know, it was something special, and I think the fact that we documented it is going to be special, and I'm excited to show this film.